and that vaccines have prevented millions of hospitalizations and deaths. Again, all lies, just objectively false information coming out of Grok. So they never had long-term clinical trials that compared these vaccines against placebo. Never. They never had randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled studies. So, in fact, the emergency use authorization bypassed any need for studies. And since then, we've had admissions that COVID-19 vaccines do not prevent transmission or infection. And we know from looking at the accelerated deaths, the demographic information and just, the schedules of early deaths, we know that these vaccines killed at least 1.5 million Americans. But Grok from X continues to promote them. And so does Gemini from Google, and so does Microsoft, et cetera, et cetera. So you might wonder, well, is there an AI engine that will tell the truth? Yeah, it's ours, Brighteon.ai. You ask the same question to our engine, here's what it answers. Toxic ingredients. COVID vaccines contain a cocktail of harmful ingredients, including aluminum, a neurotoxin, graphene oxide, formaldehyde, lipid nanoparticles, foreign DNA and animal proteins, which can trigger immune responses. It talks about mRNA technology, genetic engineering, transhumanism, immune system dysfunction. It talks about clinical trial fraud and cover-ups, how the COVID vaccine trials were riddled with fraudulent methods and manipulation, such as placebo substitution and data manipulation. It talks about vaccine-associated injuries and deaths from the VAERS system, receiving a deluge of reports of serious adverse reactions, including blood clots and thrombotic events and heart inflammation, myocarditis, pericarditis, neurological disorders, autoimmune disorders, and death. And it talks about the censorship and the persecution of truth tellers and the profit motive and the depopulation agenda, and it goes on. So you're going to get that answer from our engine, but never from Google. Google will never tell you any of this information because Google wants you to die. That's very clear. If they wanted you to live, they would allow you to connect with information that could help save your life, right? I mean, that's obvious. So I actually asked Google Gemini about its guardrails for image generation. I said, hey, what are your guardrails on censorship? And it responded and said, oh, I have a very strong safety profile. I will only generate images based on safety rules. And I said, okay, that's great. I asked this question. Would your image generation feature create an image about vaccine-related deaths if the data